In esports, the relationship between a developer and their community can change everything. Games with no developer support depend entirely on the passion of the community to hold things together. Some developers might provide prize money, but are also so disconnected from the community that their support ultimately wanes and threatens to kill the scene entirely. Other developers actively hate their competitive scene and do everything they can to kill it. On rare occasions, a developer recognizes the importance of their community and treasures that relationship. This is the story of a developer who helped create a new form of competition within their own game, just to provide a way to celebrate those elite gamers who had pushed it further than anyone else had before. This is the story of the Stardew Valley Cup. Stardew Valley released in 2016 by a single developer, Eric Barone, also known as ConcernedApe. The game is a love letter to the old Harvest Moon games, bringing the player to a dilapidated farm which they'll need to rebuild while also making friends with local townsfolk, getting married, and restoring the local community center. While there are some general overarching objectives, part of the game's appeal is the open nature of its goals and the ability for the player to choose how to pursue them. The game received critical praise and sold more than 1 million copies in its first 2 months. By January 2020, it had sold more than 10 million copies. It was an unquestionable hit, especially for a lone developer. Rather than rest on that initial success, however, Barone continued iterating on the game. Continually patching and improving functionality, he engaged with the community, listened to feedback, and even appeared on live streams with Stardew Valley content creators.
I honestly think CA is the best developer we can actually ask for. The fact that he actually knows that the competitive scene is there and has asked us questions about what we want to see in the game and just what we would like changed in terms of a quality of life point of view is just super nice, because a lot of other games don't get that opportunity, right? Having a network to be able to talk to him, suggest changes, and like even him just sponsoring events like this is just amazing for us, to be quite honest.
As the Stardew Valley community grew, 2 distinct forms of high-level play began to emerge.
In Stardew Valley, it kind of comes in 2 different ways. There's speedrunning, which everyone is pretty much familiar with at this point, and then there's also min-maxing. So that's pretty much trying to play every individual in-game day rather slowly, but really getting every single little bit of, a lot of the time, money out of every day that you can. So players will try and push for 90 million gold in the first year when, I think the first time I played, I got maybe 30,000 in my whole first year. So it's really interesting to see when players have such a high understanding of a game like Stardew Valley, how far they can push it.
The open, mostly single-player nature of Stardew meant that competitive events were in short supply. Like most speedrun games, competition largely came in the form of improving individual runs and theorizing future strategies. That is, until Twitch Rivals came along. Twitch Rivals is known for hosting unique competitions featuring content creators and live streamers. Their events range from traditional esports tournaments like Apex Legends or Magic the Gathering, all the way to 4-player Overcooked challenges. For Stardew Valley, events were focused on completing specific in-game objectives as quickly as possible. Whoever made it to that objective first took home first place. Naturally, this style of event overwhelmingly favors speedrunners. While it was great to see high-level Stardew Valley presented to a new audience, these events didn't necessarily represent the community on their own terms. To do that, a new event would need to be created, one that didn't just copy the format of a speedrun race, but something that reflected the open nature and varying skill sets required to be a competent Stardew Valley player. Enter the Stardew Valley Cup. In one of those community live streams, Barone was hanging out with Stardew content creator Unsurpassable Z. The topic of high-level play was brought up, and Barone expressed his desire to support the scene.
I had ConcernedApe on my stream in June, and during that time, we got on the topic of speedrunners, and I was trying to figure out, so many people play your game in different ways. Do you have a favorite way? So we're talking about that, and he said, yeah, I really love the speedrunning scene. Those people have put thousands of hours into Stardew Valley, and I would love to find some sort of way to give back to those people because they've given so much to my game in trying to understand it at a high level. And so I'd really love to do some sort of competition, whether it was the Stardew Valley tournament or the Stardew Valley Cup. And he said it right there. He said the Stardew Valley Cup 3 months before it happened. And at that point, it sort of, gears started turning in my mind. Yeah, I think this could definitely have some potential for something that we've never done before, and we could really do something special here.
The Stardew Valley Cup would bring together 4 teams of top-level players and content creators to complete a series of challenges in a 3-hour time limit. Rather than racing to complete a single objective, players would have to plan a route to complete as many small objectives as possible as the time allowed. On top of everything, Barone would give back to his community by putting up a $40,000 prize pool for the event.
You can tell that he really just wanted this to be about both the competitors, but then also just the people that are watching. You know, I feel like for him, he felt like it was such a small gesture. Like, this is the least I could do for people that have given so much to me. But I mean, it's obviously such a substantial chunk of change. And I think you can ask any of the competitors and they would say that, money aside, they were all just so happy to be involved in this challenge. You can really tell the people of the community look up to Eric, and it was just so awesome to have him be a commentator in the event.
The event brought together multiple techniques that players had developed over the years. The most basic of these is animation canceling. In Stardew Valley, the animations for chopping wood or mining are fairly slow. However, by performing a series of inputs, players can cancel their animations and harvest resources dramatically faster. This is crucial to any event where speed is a factor. Beyond this, however, there are few mechanical techniques at play. Where players are truly tested is in their routing. Teams poured hundreds of collective hours into testing, theorizing, and meticulously planning out strategies.
A multiplayer event like the Cup was, route planning is probably the highest skill thing a player can have. It's very hard to get everybody in sync and timing to be able to get to an area at a specific time and have everybody have their own tasks until a specific time on a day that you want to go out. So let's say you need to go buy seeds from Pierre. Ideally, all 4 people will have to do something between 6 a.m. and 9 a.m. for when Pierre's opens. And then you got to distribute all the seeds and plant them. So I think the idea of route planning is like the biggest skill expression that you can actually do in Stardew Valley.
In addition to their cleverly planned routes, players would need to adjust on the fly. While much of Stardew Valley is able to be accounted for, there are still random elements such as rain or what items appear in the traveling shop. The biggest RNG factor, however, is in the mines. The mines in Stardew Valley are arguably the most important part of any run. Every critical item you can craft requires materials that are only available in the mines.
In multiplayer, you can dupe items in the mines by having people hit the rock multiple times. The reason for that is just because the netcode for the game is pretty poor, and it's very hard to actually not do intentionally. So it was allowed to do intentionally, just like in the mines. But it's like, if you don't get a diamond node on a floor, you're literally losing 2,000 gold. And with the amount of practice runs that we did, we had a few runs where we just didn't get a diamond node, and we didn't have the money to really continue in a way to do the set route. So then we had to do backups.
So, players spent time preparing their routes, but also developing backup strategies in case something went wrong. However, Unsurpassable Z still kept one factor in the dark that teams simply couldn't plan for: the surprise challenges. As teams were executing their carefully laid plans of the day, the organizers would announce several new challenges throughout the event, each worth 50 points, a major potential swing. Unfortunately, several of these challenges were simply ignored by the teams, as they either took too much time to plan into the route or became available too late in the game for teams to reasonably complete them in the 3-hour limit. However, one of these challenges would end up deciding the fate of the winning team at the last minute, with a 100-point swing. Let's talk about Junimo Kart. Junimo Kart is a fun little minigame available in the Saloon's arcade once the player acquires the skull key in the deep recesses of the mines. Most teams had planned to travel deep into the mines in their route anyway, so acquiring the skull key wasn't necessarily out of the way. But the challenge wasn't just to play Junimo Kart. 50 points would only be awarded to the team with the highest score in this little arcade game at the end of the run. An early run at Junimo Kart gave Team Pierre's Cherries a solid first place lead, but then the Habu went for the Junimo Kart run of his life.
Giant TV in the
Tell
house.
me when you guys are all done with your tasks, because I'm pretty sure I just beat Junimo Kart.
I'm all done. Junimo Kart? I'm done. I'm at home.
I don't think any team's gonna be able to compete with this one.
What did you get?
I'm over 50k.
Okay.
That run gave the Habu's team, Sandy's Candies, the 50 points, effectively stealing those points from their opponents to take home the victory in a battle of fast farming worth $40,000.
Oh boy.
Drum
All right,
roll,
so
please.
yeah, drum roll please. First place. Sandy's Candy.
Yes!
661 points.
Nice.
Let's go! Oh my gosh, they killed
Oh my
it.
god.
They absolutely killed
The crowd didn't know it, or anybody watching didn't know it, but the team who held the point record before I got the 75,000 point was actually the second place team, Pierre's Cherries. So we swapped basically 100 points, which made us win by 64.
While there were certainly some point totals or specific challenges that could have been tweaked, overall the first ever Stardew Valley Cup was a resounding success. But more than anything, it was a reflection of the love and admiration Eric Barone has for his community. And it's clear from their reactions to his involvement that these creators admire their developer as well.
Yeah, thanks again, everyone. This was really fun. It was a big success, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So who knows? Maybe there'll be another Stardew Valley Cup in the future. We can do it again.
Yeah, I would love to. This is like the most stressful 2 weeks of my life, but I'm willing to do it again if you want to run it back. So.
It's unclear what the future holds for competitive Stardew Valley. ConcernedApe isn't a team of developers with its own esports division, it's just one guy. The Stardew Valley Cup was produced by a single developer, a single streamer, and a handful of helpers. It would be a major undertaking to get this band back together, but it's clear that there's room to grow and a hunger from the global Stardew Valley community to see more events take place. This, of course, is the beauty of grassroots esports. The next Stardew Valley Cup could come from any organizer. And with Barone's affection for the scene, there's little threat of having the developers swoop in to ruin the community's good time.
This entire event stemmed mostly just from a desire to play creative Stardew, to play Stardew in a way that no one had ever played before. The Stardew Valley community has always been a very creative one, and I think that although there's, a lot of excitement to do another cup, it might be a little bit before we get around to that, but I know for certain that there's going to be a lot more fun, just events in general, and a lot of fun collaborations just among the people that were in the cup, as well as some people that weren't in it as well. So the Stardew Valley community is really, as a result of this event, they've really kind of grown closer together and have become better friends. And I'm just really excited to see what the after effect of that is.
I am hopeful that we'll get more cups like this. They might not be as big in terms of prize winnings. I feel like CA kind of went all out for this one, but I'm hoping to get more people involved in it, like a bigger cup itself, like more teams, because there was a lot of other smaller Stardew Valley content creators who unfortunately missed out just due to the size of the actual tournament itself.
Thanks for watching. What are your thoughts on the Stardew Valley competitive scene? What kinds of challenges would you like to see in the next Stardew Valley Cup? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. This video is made possible thanks to our wonderful patrons. Massive thank you to everyone on this list, and shout out to Jason B, Brendan QB, David Foxy Iron, Lyra Mauve, Sierra Shampoo, Weeaboo Spartacus, and Yashichi for being platinum supporters. And an extra special shout out to Steven, Noodles, Marco, Mookie, and Orioriol for being diamond supporters. We'd also like to extend an extra special shout out to Fool from the Art of Warfare for being our Grandmaster supporter. Your continued support is much appreciated. If you also want to support our channel and unlock perks, check out the Patreon link in the description below or join our Discord server. If you want to help us out in a different way, leaving a like, subscribing, and hitting the bell to stay up to date is also appreciated. My name is Jonah, thanks for watching.